Okay, welcome back. Some more practice questions today for the RBT exam. If you are preparing for the RBT competency, okay, or if you've passed your exam, you'll have to take the competency every year. So I just put up a new video where I cover the entire assessment in full. So that'll be a good thing to review when it comes time. If you're studying for the RBT exam, keep working hard. Okay, it's going to pay off. If you're liking my videos, like and subscribe. If you need study materials, you can find them at our website or from one of the links, which I will put down in the comments and the descriptions below. Any questions, please leave them. I will try to answer them. Other than that, let's get into it. All right, based on this graph, what is the response percentage for color ID? So I get this question a lot. How do I convert percentages? Well, you're going to convert percentages the same way you would do it in any real life scenario, right? So a number divided by a number gives you a percentage, right? 3 divided by 10, 30%, okay? It works the same way here. You might just have to look at data, okay? And so in this question, it's asking what is the response percentage for color ID? So first things first, okay? How many responses did we get? Well, you can see on our graph, our 0 indicates no response and our 1 indicates a response. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 total responses, okay? That would be your top number, divided by the number of opportunities or number of sessions or number of trials. In this case, we're looking at trials, okay? How many trials do we have? Well, how many data points do we have? We have 9 total data points, okay? So out of the 9 trials, they responded 4 times. What is the response percentage? You would divide 4 divided by 9 and get what? 44%. And that is your response percentage. Is that easy, right? That's how you convert data to percentages in ABA. All right. Your client enjoys going out to eat at different sushi restaurants. Whenever he goes to a restaurant, his parents order for him. You want to teach him to order for himself. You practice with him during your sessions until he is able to order a meal. Now, when he goes to the sushi restaurant, he can order for himself. He is also able to order for himself at an Italian restaurant. Ordering from different places is considered what? So what are you doing? You're teaching your client in a learning environment, okay? So this contrived environment at session where he's ordering from you. You're acting as the waiter. He's ordering a meal, okay? And now he's going out into the real natural environment and ordering meals. So what do we automatically know is happening? Well, we immediately know he's beginning to generalize, right? Remember, generalization is exhibiting a learned or trained skill outside of the training environment. That's exactly what's happening here. So we can automatically eliminate what? Discrimination, okay? There's no discrimination going on. He's not identifying the difference between two things, okay? He is taking a skill you taught him and bringing it to the natural environment. So the question becomes, is it stimulus generalization or response generalization? Well, what is the response here? The response is ordering, okay? He's ordering a meal. So it's the same response occurring across multiple stimuli. What kind of generalization is that? That is stimulus generalization, okay? Response generalization would be a number of different responses for the same stimuli, okay? So it's important you understand the difference between these two, okay? I normally recommend people learn this last because it can get a little tricky, okay? But you do need to know it for your exam. So again, ordering is the response, okay? That same response of ordering a meal is occurring across multiple stimulus, okay? He's generalizing it across stimuli. Every 15 minutes, Joe will shout out in class. When Joe shouts, the teacher tells Joe to keep his voice down. Joe continues to shout every 15 minutes. Joe's BCBA recommends that the teacher engages with Joe every 12 minutes. Joe's shouting has decreased significantly. This type of intervention is considered what? Is it an antecedent intervention, consequence, unethical, or a contingency? So, what can we eliminate? Always try to eliminate wrong answers first, okay? So, immediately we can eliminate what? Unethical, okay? Nothing unethical is happening, okay? So C is out. Contingency. Can we eliminate contingency? Yes. Okay. Is there any if then, right? Are we setting up any opportunities to reinforce? No, there's no if you do this, then you do this. First you do this, then you do this. The BCBA is just telling the teacher every 12 minutes, okay, engage Joe. There's no contingency. It's non-contingent, right? So C and D are out. So the question becomes, is this an antecedent intervention or a consequence? Well, ask yourself, is the intervention occurring before the behavior or after? So what is our behavior? Our behavior is shouting out, right? The teacher engaging Joe, does it happen before or after the shouting out? Well, what happens before? So what type of intervention is that? That is an antecedent intervention, okay? So when you're looking at what type of intervention, okay, ask yourself, is it happening before or after the behavior? In this case, before the behavior, okay? Therefore, it's an antecedent intervention, right? So this is considered non-contingent reinforcement, where Joe, okay, is getting attention non-contingently to try to manipulate the motivation to shout out, okay? All right, you are struggling to find stimuli that your client is willing to work for during session. You ask the parent what the client likes outside of services. The client's parents tell you the client likes Legos, gummy bears, and the iPad. You ask the parent to withhold Legos outside of sessions. Your client starts to work for Legos with you. What is being manipulated in this scenario? Is it the SD, the MO, the consequence, or the reinforcer? Okay, so what can we eliminate? Are any consequences being manipulated here? No, we don't know when you're delivering it, why you're delivering it. Okay, what is the effect? Okay, so no consequence antecedents are going on, right? Remember, what are we trying to identify? We're trying to identify what the client likes. Okay, we need the client to start working for something. Okay, so this is happening before the work, right? We have something that the client's willing to work for. So we're manipulating the reinforcer, or we're manipulating Legos and gummy bears and the iPad. No, the Legos and the gummy bears and the iPad are staying the same. Okay. What are we manipulating? We're manipulating the client's want for these items. Okay. Your client didn't want to work before, and now their motivation to work is higher. And why is that? Because we are depriving them of Legos outside of sessions. Okay. So before they were getting Legos whenever they wanted them. Now they only get Legos with you. Okay. You're manipulating the antecedent. Okay. You're manipulating their motivation. Okay. For these Legos through deprivation. So now when you get there, the motivation to earn the Legos is really high. Therefore, what are you manipulating? You're manipulating motivating operations. Tough question, right? Remember, MOs and SDs are antecedents, okay? The MO makes you want the item, okay? It alters the value of the reinforcer. So in this case, the Legos become much more valuable, right? Because you're manipulating motivation, right? Through the deprivation. The SD signals the Legos are available, right? So now when you give the instruction, that SD, is telling your client, hey, you want the Legos. Now I'm letting you know they're available, but first you need to work. Okay. Everything kind of comes together, right? We have MOs, we have SDs, we have contingencies. You're manipulating the MO. All right. Just a general question, right? RBT certifications must be renewed annually. How long before your renewal date must you complete a renewal competency assessment? So you have to take an initial competency assessment, right? Before you become an RBT. And then every year after that, you must take another renewal just to ensure that you're staying up on RBT skills and competency and things like that. So how long before your renewal date, which is every year, must you complete that assessment? 90 days, 30 days, 45 days, or 60 days? So you just need to know this, okay? Because as an RBT, you're responsible for getting the certification renewed, okay? So the answer is 45 days. So 45 days before your certification expires, which happens yearly, you need to get with your supervisor or your BCBA, okay, and complete a renewal competency assessment. Over the past week, you start to notice your client is eloping more than usual. Your BCBA asks you to collect data on the number of times the client elopes. What type of data collection makes the most sense? Okay, so I threw this in here. Easy, easy measurement question if you've been studying. Okay, what are you measuring? You're measuring eloping. What are you trying to find out? You're trying to find out how many times they elope. Immediately, without reading the answers, you should know it. Okay, but let's just read them anyway. Latency, is it latency? Are we measuring the time between an instruction and when they start to elope? No, we just want to know how many times. So latency is out. Duration, are we measuring an amount of time? No, we're just measuring a number. Okay, so duration is out. Time sampling, this is continuous measurement, so time sampling is out. So what does that leave us with? Count. What is another word for count? Frequency. Okay, so you're just counting how many times they elope. And that's the best type of data collection to use in this scenario. Okay, not everything has to be super complicated. Don't make everything complicated. Okay, just because we're doing ABA and you're trying to be an RBT and all this stuff, there's so much, you know, definitions and terms. Not everything has to be that complicated. Okay, this is a basic measurement question. All you're doing is counting how many times they elope. Don't make it harder than it is. Okay, you are starting your first case as an RBT. During the first session, you immediately start placing demands on the client. Now, when you arrive at the home, the child runs and hides. What did you fail to do? Okay, so we sometimes see this where the RBT shows up, and as soon as that car pulls up, the client is off, right? They're running, they're hiding, they're screaming, they're crying. What have you failed to do? What did you fail to establish? Did you A, not train the parents? Well, no, a couple things here, right? One, you're the RBT, so it's not your job to train the parents. Two, you just started the case, right? So training the parents is not really on your agenda. Okay, there's other stuff that comes first. B, bring reinforcers with you. I mean, yes, it helps, right? If you bring stuff with you to pair with the client, okay, but that's not the main thing, right? You're not required to bring reinforcers. You're not expected to bring reinforcers, okay? So B is out. And also, you just started the case. So do you even know what's reinforcing yet? No, right? You kind of failed to find that out, right? So what does C say? Build rapport. The first thing you need to do with your clients, okay, is build rapport. You need to develop a relationship with them before you start placing demands and trying to work with them, okay? Now, you might get lucky, and some clients, you can just immediately jump into session, right, and get the ball rolling. But for most clients, okay, you must build rapport before you start placing demands, okay? It's just like anything else, right? Imagine meeting somebody, okay, not developing a relationship with them, and then you ask them all kind of personal questions, you start telling them to do things. What are they going to say? They're like, well, who do you think you are? I don't know you, right? Why do you think you can tell me what to do? Okay, kind of works the same with our clients. Okay, if you just walk into their house, okay, their environment, and start giving them all these demands, especially new demands, okay, they might start pushing back, right? So first 1 or 2 sessions, focus on building rapport, building a relationship, making yourself a reinforcer. So when they see you, they're excited or they want to be around you. Okay. The best thing you can do is make yourself a reinforcer, right? Remember, make yourself a conditioned reinforcer. Pair yourself with other good things. Okay. So you act as a reinforcer. So what did you fail to do? You failed to build rapport. RBT supervision requires which of the following? Okay, another RBT question, general question. You need to know this. Okay, you have to get supervision as an RBT. So, what does that require? A, obtain supervision for a minimum of 5% of hours spent providing services. Yes, you need. So, if you work, 100 hours, you need to get 5 hours of supervision. So, A is true. Okay, you have to obtain a minimum of 5% of hours spent providing services. B, at least 2 face-to-face contacts with your supervisor per month. Yes, right? Supervision can't just be a text message, okay? You need to at least see your supervisor in some capacity, okay, twice a month. C, at least 1 session should be individual supervision. Yes, okay? Group meetings are okay. Group supervision is okay. but you have to at least have one-on-one session with your supervisor. Okay. So all of these are required for RBT supervision, therefore, all of the above. Okay. So we've done two general RBT questions, right? What do you need to know as an RBT? It's your responsibility to get supervision and to renew your certificate. Okay. Those are things you need to be aware of and you need to know how to do. All right. Yesterday, your client started to flick the light switch on and off repeatedly. The function appears to be automatic reinforcement from the light turning on and off. Which of the following represents extinction for this behavior? Extinction question. Okay, a lot going on here. So what's the behavior? Flicking the light switch on and off. All right. Now, the function appears to be reinforcement from the light turning on and off. So it's not necessarily flicking the switch, but it's more seeing the light go on and off. So how do we implement extinction? Okay, extinction is removing reinforcement, okay, for a previously reinforced behavior. So what is reinforcing the kid here? It's seeing that light go on and off, okay? So let's look at our answer choices. A, telling the client to stop turning the lights off and on. Well, they're not doing it for attention, right? And they're doing it because it's automatically reinforcing them, okay? So you telling them to stop turning the lights off and on, is that extinction or are you removing reinforcement? No, right? You're not removing reinforcement, therefore you're not doing extinction. B, ignoring the client when they turn the lights off and on. Again, the function isn't attention, okay? So even if you're ignoring them, even if you weren't in the room, okay, they would still be flicking the light off and on because it's automatically reinforcing, okay? So you ignoring the client has nothing to do with it. Remember, extinction does not mean ignoring. C, blocking the client from the light switch. Okay, I mean, maybe temporarily, yes, you blocked reinforcement, but what are they going to do when you leave? Well, they'll probably just go right back to flicking the light off and on, right? Because that reinforcement is still available, okay? Just because you block them doesn't mean you've stopped the reinforcement, okay? Maybe temporarily, right? But once you're gone, the light switch is still there and the light is still there. D, removing the light bulb so when the client flicks the switch, nothing happens. Yes, right? What is reinforcing? The light bulb, right? Seeing it turn it off and on. If we remove that light bulb, okay, what happens to the reinforcement when they turn the light off and on? It's not there, okay? It goes away. So this represents extinction the best, okay? Now remember, these questions are like perfect world scenarios, okay? So, maybe this isn't the greatest intervention, but as far as this question goes, this best represents extinction. And I hope you understand this question because it's a good one to really understand at a fundamental level, okay? Your client is typically compliant and well behaved. However, when it is time to work on counting, your client flops to the floor and starts to cry. Which of the following is an example of an extinction procedure for your client's behavior? Okay, another extinction question, right? What is the behavior? Right, flopping to the floor and starting to cry. Okay, why are they doing this? Well, you're giving them a demand to work on counting. So what do you think the function is? Okay, that's the question you need to ask. Okay, when you're looking at extinction, what's the function? What are they trying to gain? Because that's the reinforcer. So if you deliver the instruction count and they flop to the floor and start to cry, possible function might be what? Escape. So which of the following is the best example of extinction? A, while the client is crying, you hand them the iPad to calm them down. Well, this is the opposite of extinction. Okay, if you're handing them the iPad to calm them down, what are you doing? You're reinforcing the behavior, right? Now, hey, if you flop to the floor and cry, what are you doing? Now you get the iPad. Okay, so A is very wrong. B, the parent walks over and tells the client, if you don't stop crying, we won't go to the toy store. This is nothing but a threat. Okay, it doesn't do anything, doesn't mean anything. It's just a threat. So B is out. C, reintroducing the instruction for counting. Yes, right? What is your client trying to do? They're trying to escape counting. Okay, so if you allow them to escape, you reinforce. If you prevent the escape, okay, you're removing the escape reinforcement, the negative reinforcement, okay, and you're putting it on extinction. Therefore, C is correct. D, ignoring the behavior and letting your client have a break when they are calm. Remember, ignoring is not extinction. They don't want attention. What do they want? They want a break. They want to get away. Okay. They want to escape. So if you want to let them have a break, okay, there's other ways to teach them the actual break. But in this scenario, they're trying to escape counting. So the best way for extinction is reintroduce that instruction and prevent the escape. Okay, hope those were helpful. I've got another video coming Friday. Remember, all the study materials can be found at my website or down below in the comments and descriptions. If you do like my videos, please like and subscribe. It really helps me. As always, keep studying hard. Any questions, reach out, let me know, and I'll see you soon.